Hello, okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to once again welcome us to the side event organized by the United Nations of Youth Network, UNOY, and Global Alert for Defense of Youth and the Less Privileged, two NGOs that are with special consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, since 2014. And they also have observer status with the UNFCCC and also with the UNCCD. Today's side event is titled Young People and Tree Planting, Lessons Learned in Nigeria and Among YOUNGO Members in the Globe. Briefly, let me say that most of the speakers for today's event couldn't make it to Bonn for two major reasons. One, because of the difficulties in getting a visa from the German embassy in Nigeria, and also for some other logistical reasons. Today, I'll be moderating this side event, and my name is Pastor Peter Somoragbon, and I am the Executive Director of President of Nurses Across the Borders International. We were the first NGO to be granted observer status by the UNFCCC in Nigeria. And to start this discussion, I have a brief commentary. Trees act as carbon sinks, continue the water cycle, control soil erosion, act as wind breaker. Lessons learned from Imo State of Nigeria and from members of YOUNGO in both Global North and Global South will be part of the presentation today. If you recall, in COP17 held in Durban, South Africa, the then President of South Africa, President Zuma, made a very profound statement when he said, which is a fact, that Africa contributes at least 4% of the global emission, of the global carbon emissions. And it will suffer the greatest deal from the emission from developed countries. But that the saving grace for Africa was, and it is, the forests that exist in Africa. So the trees in our forest have been helping to absorb the carbon emission. So which is why we do not have much of the devastating effects as pronounced in developed countries as in Africa. And which is why today discussion on this side event is very key. Our speakers are drawn from both the young and the old. And the lead speaker for today's event is the convener of both NGOs. He is Dr. Goodluck OBI, who is a human rights crusader, an environmental climate change advocate, an author of over 15 abstracts, is a UN Peace Ambassador, a designated contact point for UNOY, which is the United Nations of Youth Network, and also a paramount ruler and a royal father of Umbulu, Inyojofo Ancient Kingdom, Oru West Local Government Area, Imo State of Nigeria, among many others. So, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce to the audience here today, both on-site and online, our guest speaker and convener, His Royal Majesty, EZE DR.Goodluck OBI, Justice of Peace. He will be speaking on a topic titled Uzodimma charges Solad to plant 10,000 trees in 6 months. Lessons learned at the flagging off of Hope Green Revolution. Your Royal Majesty, you have the floor. Yeah, it's Dr. Goodluck Obi.
I am happy that the conference is taking place and our delegates, who we are one way or the other not able to come physically, are contributing with the new introduction of visual means by UNFCCC. Without much ado,
Good luck. It's not on screen.
I want to start my presentation.
Sorry, Your Royal Majesty, can we have your camera on, please?
The what?
Your camera. We are not seeing you. Can we have your camera on, please? We can see your other speakers, but we can't see you.
Okay, let's see.
Yes. All right.
Okay, you can see now?
Yes, please.
All right. My presentation is Uzodinma charges solar to plant 10,000 trees in 6 months. Lessons learned for the flag off of Hope Green Revolution initiative in Imo State, Nigeria, November 2022. Before I go on, let me say that tree planting has been one of the major areas our organization have been taking to for decades now, even before 2015 in Copenhagen. We have made some presentation in respect of tree planting. While I was in Lagos, when the headquarters of my organization, United Nations of Youth Network Nigeria, in Lagos, I worked with the then Lord Mayor of YOUNGO local government, Comrade Ayodele Adewale, and through the contribution of United Nations of Youth and Global Alliance for Defense of Youth and the Less Privileged, Comrade Ayodele Adewale was known then as the Lord Mayor, and through the collaboration of United Nations of Youth and YOUNGO local government, the tree we planted in YOUNGO local government in Lagos State made Comrade Ayodele Adewale the best environmentally friendly local government chairman. As God will have it, I was crowned a king. I have to go back to my home country, Imo State. Stay consistent in tree planting. I have a friend in the government of Imo State who, like Ayodele Adewale in Lagos State, is doing very greatly in the issue of tree planting and related issues. Therefore, I have to type, my topic now is carve around the good work of the governor in respect of the tree planting. I now want to recognize some of the issues distinguished Senator Hope Uzodinma, CON, has done in respect of tree planting. Introduction. The global climate crisis is a defining moment, and its effects are already with us. Today, the race towards net zero is more strategic and important than it ever was. The United Nations Secretary General has warned that, I quote, "We are in a life or death struggle for our own safety today and our survival tomorrow," unquote. And to the Director General of International Renewable Energy, quote, "We are starting into a terrifying abyss of irreversible climate consequences if we fail to act," unquote. Global green politics is entering a new era, one that requires those who believe in the founding principles of sustainable development to stand up and be counted. Then I will now say, the time is now. The time is now. Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State directed his own administrators to that of the 27 local government area of the state to plant 10,000 trees in their local communities within 6 months of the launching of Hope Green Revolution, HGR initiative. It's also important to say here that despite the fact that the governor of Imo State mandated his chairman for the 27 local governments to plant 10,000 trees, the United Nations of Youth and Global Alert for Defense of Youth and the Less Privileged used the momentum to mobilize young people from primary school, secondary school, tertiary institutions, colleges of education, polytechnics, and the universities on how to plant trees, the importance of tree planting, and the way we move to the next level if we continue to plant trees. The organizations even went as far as forming a green club where young people from primary and secondary schools, they were admitted into the club, which we call the Green Club and Climate Change Clubs. In these clubs, they were taught on how to plant trees, the importance of planting trees, and what we can get if we continuously sustain the tree planting. We can now say without any iota of doubt that in my local government, Oru West local government in Imo State, and my own town, Ubuli Hejofo, the young people can boast of tree planting from primary school, secondary school, universities. They are grown up with it. And we have a program we call Catch Them Young. Catch Them Young. As they are small, the tree planting is inculcated in them, and they grow up planting trees, reducing the effect of climate change. Because tree planting is the easiest way and best way in mitigating the effect of climate change in the world, in Nigeria, in Imo State, in Oru West local government, in my kingdom, Hope Green Revolution. The governor of Imo State inaugurated Hope Green Revolution. According to him, I quote him, I have been informed that through the launch of the Green Revolution, which is the first of its kind in the sub-Saharan Africa, we shall reap the benefits economically, ecologically, and socially. I sincerely look forward and healthier environment.
Sorry, your mic is muted. Your Royal Highness, your mic is muted. And for anyone not speaking, they should please mute their own mic. Please, unmute your mic, Your Highness.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now, please.
Like I said, I am talking about the 27 local governments that trees were planted by the instruction by the executive governor to plant 10,000 trees within 6 months. The commissioners of agriculture and environment, like he said, should collaborate to come up with the best strategies that will help Imo State drive the whole green revolution to a fruitful end. It is remarkable that this event is taking place at a time when Nigeria has just experienced the worst type of flooding in recent history. As a result, many Nigerians lost their lives and property, while many more were displaced from their homes. As we speak, many are yet to return their homes, and we are praying for the rains to abate and for the floods to recede. The Hope Green Revolution, according to His Excellency, is an ambition and revolutionary movement to address the anxieties and other consequences of extreme weather, which makes the event timely. Governor Uzodimma continued, although Nigeria is a party to the global green transmission agenda, Imo State is the first subnational to go green in Africa. Thus, today's event signifies a major milestone and another first for our dear state. This should not come as a surprise to anyone, considering that Imo State, under my watch, is blazing the trail on many fronts. Be that as it may, we all know that climate change is responsible for the incessant rains, the attendant floods, and other devastating extreme weather events reported across the world in recent times. We also know that a variety of human activities which result in the excessive release of greenhouse gases are responsible for the depletion of the ozone layer, the resultant global warming, and other features of extreme weather, such as flooding. I will also want to say here that there is a slogan that worked for us in the campaign on tree planting among the young people. It goes like this: we the willing, led by the unknown, doing the impossible. For the ungrateful, we have done so much with so little that we are now qualified to do everything with nothing. Young people are motivated in this action with this simple slogan to do much in planting trees. They are doing this free of charge. Nobody is paying them. It's a voluntary work. But very soon, we should mark some stipends to raise their morale and motivate them so that they will do much better work. This is an innovation idea aimed at helping to mitigate the damage done to our environment by the indiscriminate activities of man. Although we have been having tree planting campaigns in Nigeria, I believe the current aggressive approach will yield more positive results, partly because many of us now know that the climate change is real. Before now, there are some areas we go to talk about tree planting, about climate change. People will tell us that it's mystery, that there is no climate change. But as things are happening now, people are dying, floods are taking over houses, cars are being covered, villages are being taken over by storm, by flood, and the effect of all these are climate change. People now know that climate change is not mysterious. Rather, it is something that is real. That is the area we collaborate with the government of Imo State to let people understand that the climate change is not a fairy tale. It is true. Because once people understand that something is true, they will understand, they will not appreciate on how to reduce it if it is a challenge. Now the villagers have understood that climate change is real, that tree planting will help to mitigate the effect of climate change. As we know that when we plant trees, as trees grow, it attracts the carbon dioxide, which is one of the serious greenhouse gases. It will put them in, it descends in the soil and reduce oxygen. And this is how photosynthesis, a process by which plants manufacture their food using carbon dioxide and oxygen in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. This is how it goes. Young people now understand that what they do in the elementary biology is what goes on in climate change, what goes on in tree planting. When you talk about photosynthesis, you can now understand how trees store carbon dioxide and release oxygen. In doing that, the trees are able to reduce the carbon dioxide, which if liberated or emitted in the atmosphere, will mix up with other greenhouse gases and heat up the ozone layer, depletion of the ozone layer, which now causes climate change. By tree planting, in thousands, in millions, much carbon dioxide is being saved in the soil, and it will help very well in reducing the climate change. And this is how it goes. So it is not enough. It is not enough to plant and nurture trees. We also need to come up with enforceable measures to preserve them. To this end, we shall explore legislative measures to ensure that everyone who resides in Imo State is legally bound to embrace the tree planting and maintenance culture while those involved in the illegal felling of trees are made to face lawful consequences of their anti-green culture. This is to say that Imo State has taken it upon themselves to lobby with the legislators so that laws will be made, that those who fell trees will pay the consequences of their action. And everybody residing in Imo State, including my humble self, not minding how highly placed you are, we plant trees. We will educate your children, educate your wards on the importance of tree planting. And those who fell trees will be punished accordingly. This is how it goes.
You have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to round up, Your Royal Highness.
Tree planting has so much to do in reducing the climate change. In conclusion, I want to say, a philosopher said, I shall pass this way but once. Whatever good I have to do, whatever kindness I have to show to my fellow people in planting trees, let me do it now. Let me not defer it or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. As I plant trees, we continue to plant trees to mitigate the effect of climate change. In Oru local government, in Ogudi of Ancient Kingdom, in Imo State of Nigeria, in Nigeria at large, in West Africa, in African continent, I thank you so much. Peace.
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness. that was heartwarming and thought-provoking. I'm not going to waste much time because I want to please employ our other speakers to please stick to your time. You have 6 minutes to make your presentation so that we can have room for interactions. There are a lot of people online, and there are a lot of us here on site wanting to also engage in this discussion. So that takes me to the next speaker, who is a barrister. She's Dr. Chi Igwe, a climate change expert and consultant. Dr. Chi Igwe is of the Obi Igwe and Co chambers in Nigeria. She was called to the Nigerian Bar in 1994 and has been in active law practice in Nigeria with a master's degree in environmental law and Doctor of Philosophy in climate change. She is also a consultant in climate change and legal advisor to some prominent NGOs like UNOY and GADYLP, among others. She is going to be speaking to us on tree planting and young people in Nigeria and India, the legal perspective. Dr. Igwe, you have the floor. 6 minutes, please. Please, your mic is muted. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, madam. All right. We can hear you now, madam.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Like I said, good day, our moderator and fellow participants. My name has already been said, and my topic is tree planting and young people in Nigeria and India, the legal perspective. Then we ask ourselves, what is tree planting? Tree planting is the process of transplanting tree seedlings, generally for forestry, land and reclamation, or landscaping processes. It is one of the simplest and the most effective ways of tackling climate change caused by greenhouse gas. As trees grow, they absorb carbon dioxide, which is a major greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. With increasing threat from human activities and natural disasters, which is evident, an adverse effect of climate change. Experts have recommended more tree planting across the world as a way of handling or checkmating climate change menace. Based on this advice by the experts, the recommendations by the experts, some of the countries keyed into it immediately, such as the past president of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, who pledged to plant 25 million trees in Nigeria. This is also to enhance the implementation of Paris Agreement in climate change. Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, the governor of Imo State, also keyed into the same recommendation by the experts. He launched Hope Green Revolution Initiative. He encouraged the 27 sole administrators in the 27 local government areas of Imo State to plant 10,000 trees within 6 months of launching this initiative. Then on the 10th of November 2022, the then past Nigerian Minister of Youth and Sports, Dare Sunday, also launched a 25K project whereby he intends that 250,000 youths should plant 250,000 trees around the nation. Then we now look into what India has to say about tree planting. Also in India, the India Rural Development Ministry announced a new afforestation plan to plant 2 billion trees along the nation's highways, as well as tackling youth unemployment. The Indian outlet NDTV reported that this plan could potentially employ 300,000 youths. Then we now look at the laws and policies guiding the tree planting and the tree felling. The first we'll look at is the Forestry Act of 1979. This act governs the forest sector in Nigeria. The act is against cutting of trees, and violation of this act attracts penalty or imprisonment, penalty of imprisonment or the payment of fine. Then another one is Cap 55 of Nigerian forestry laws. It provides for the preservation and control of forests. We talk about National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency Act. It's called NESRE. NESRE has called on Nigerians to plant trees and shrubs to mitigate flooding and erosion in Nigeria.
Madam, you have 2 minutes to round up.
Cap 55 of the forest laws provides for a
Okay, sorry. Madam, you have 2 minutes to round up. You have 2 minutes to round up. Madam, 2 minutes to round up.
National Forest Policy. Then we have Forest Law of Lagos State 2020. This law prevents anyone to cut or destroy trees planted by the side of the road, except with the consent of the government. We have Federal Capital Territory Administration. It makes an offense for tree cutting. If anybody cuts tree, you pay 100,000 naira per tree cut. And in India too, then we have some cases. In Chief Magistrate Court sitting at Okitipupa in Ondo State in Nigeria, a police officer arrested 3 men for cutting down economic trees worth 2 million naira. In India too, the Supreme Court of India suspended cutting of trees except in accordance with the plans of the state government. Having said this, we can recommend that in Nigeria, let tree planting be specifically provided for in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not as provided along with environmental law. Then we can also recommend that the youths be paid incentives to motivate them in tree planting. We can also recommend that judiciary shall fully implement policies and legislations as well as laws that govern tree planting and tree felling.
Thank you very much, madam. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for sticking to your time. I'm sorry I had to cut in because we're running against time. Can we have Doris Anusi, who is a global alert for defense of youth and less privileged JAMAC focal point? Doris, is Doris around? She's not.
Moderator is not.
All right, sorry then. All right, so that can we have Jennifer Owanchukwu? Is Jennifer there? Jennifer will be speaking to us on the importance of tree planting with example from Global South Nigeria, a case study. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Your time starts now. Thank you.
Okay, good day, everyone. Yeah, my name is Wachuku Jennifer.
So if there's somebody, sorry, there's somebody by yours. If there's somebody with you there with his phone on, they should please mute their phone. You cannot have two. Thank you. No, you cannot have two sets on. All right, please go on. Thank you.
And I'm talking on the importance of tree planting with examples from Global South Nigeria.
From Jennifer, right?
Okay. Planting tree seedlings or through their stems.
Okay.
Generally to forest.
It's better now.
Land reclamation or landscape purposes. The importance of tree planting. Tree planting is important as its benefits extend to the environment, society, and personal development. Planting trees helps in beautification of our environment. It can also help to improve air and water quality, reduce soil erosion, and provide habitat for wildlife. Planting trees is important. It's a simple act that can have a very big impact on the revenue generation and sustainability. Tree planting is a great way for younger people to get involved in their communities and make a difference in the world. People who plant trees often look towards natural alternatives to meet their life and food requirements. Some trees also serve as herbs and traditionally used to heal wounds and can be used as medicinal purposes. The integration of trees into urban livability offers great benefits to city dwellers, apart from beautifying cities and making them livable. A healthy urban forest is a group effort of proper planning, maintenance, awareness and allocation of resources, and community involvement, which entails constant dedication. A large amount of urban land is consumed by schools, therefore, they should lead the way by greening cities and expanding forest canopy. Like our former speaker said, on the November 10, 2022, the Nigerian government launched a new tree planting tagged Project 250K. The new initiative was disclosed by the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, said it targets the youth as part of efforts to get them involved in the country's fight against the devastating impacts of climate change. He said the initiative We ensure that youths are paid for every tree planted and nurtured over the years. It created an atmosphere that helped to broaden the narrative and around Africa as a hub of opportunities and innovative solutions, highlighting how youth are collaboratively driving action towards achieving climate justice and intergenerational equity. Tree planting cannot be overemphasized because of its importance in helping to combat climate change. The school-based tree planting programs can keep students and youth connected with trees and teach them the immeasurable values of trees. Spending much time around trees enhances youth and students' academic performance, mental and physical well-being, concentration and self-discipline, as well as their love of nature. At a very young age, children are involved in tree planting projects with maintenance process for years, with a sense of ownership. The children learn the complex, time-consuming process of growing trees. As their trees grow, they learn the environmental and aesthetic benefits these trees offer to the school for decades. In essence, this training makes them environmental stewards who serve in protecting nature and keeping cities green. A teacher in Central School Umunakano, Himembano, LUG of Imo State, Nigeria, brought and developed the project Plant Trees with Kids as a service learning project to teach students real-world issues by engaging pupils in tree planting events. For instance, the project instructors let children observe a construction site that is exposed to soil erosion, since all the trees are cut down for building construction. Teach students how and why these issues was brought and possible ways to solve it. In Emekuku Girls High School, Owerri North LUG of Imo State, students are encouraged to be environmental ambassadors and heroes.
You have 1 minute more to round up.
Okay. The planting tree exercise educated the students on why planting trees in their communities is very important to not only the environment but also to the society at large, as it helps to make the environment greener, cleaner, and fresher. In conclusion, trees should be regularly planted to serve the mankind and animal world. Tree plantation and its aftercare is a pleasing work too. And students and youth should also plant trees in their school compounds and in their front yards, backyards, and side yards of their schools and near their own houses. In other places, wherever possible, we should consider the fact that we all need trees and trees are important to our environment. Plant more trees today. As you plant trees, you are planting life too, because of the fact that they are giving us fresh air. Woods that we use to build our houses, they stand as our shelter, most especially to the animals, a shield to heat. Have mercy on them, because they are one of the reasons why we still have fresh air now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jennifer. I'm sorry I have to stop you here. Thank you. I want to introduce our next speaker, Ruth Afuko. Ruth Afuko is a young woman who wants to see development in the various sectors of the world. A one-time peace ambassador and a national advocacy champion of the Stop the Violence Now campaign and women empowerment champion. She has a central space in her heart for climate change and leading this change in her native community through UNOY and the Global Alert for Defense of Youth and Less Privileged. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to give the floor to Ruth Afuko, who will be speaking on tree planting, young people, and climate change, a young person perspective. 6 minutes, madam.
Okay. A very good morning to us all. Before I begin, I would like to introduce myself again. My name is Ruth Afuko, and I'm from Ghana. I'm representing United Nations of Youth Network Nigeria and Global Alert for Defense of Youth and the Less Privileged. These organizations are members of YOUNGO. Now to the topic under discussion, tree planting, young person and climate change, a young person's approach. I'll run us through my presentation outline briefly. In my presentation outline, we'll be looking at the definition of tree planting, who a young person is, definition of climate change, importance of tree planting, what is YOUNGO, and then I shall take my conclusion. Proceeding, tree planting is a technique whereby tree seedlings are transplanted over a variety of different purposes, such as forestry, land reclamation, or landscape restoration. One can refer to the tree planting technique with the name of afforestation or reforestation. Afforestation indicates that the area being planted has not been recently forested. Reforestation indicates that the area being planted was forested in the recent past. A young person, according to the United Nations, is a person between the ages of 15 and 24 years. Now, looking at climate change refers to a long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. These shifts may be natural, but since the 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, which produces heat-trapping gases. Moving to the importance of tree planting is one of the best ways to slow down, prevent, or counter global warming. The following below will elaborate on the importance of tree planting. To the environment, tree planting is one of the simplest and most effective ways of tackling climate change caused by greenhouse gases. As tree grows, they absorb carbon dioxide, a major greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, and then stores it in their roots, plant matter, and under the soil, and releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. When communities plant trees, they can help to reduce the impacts of climate change on their local areas around the world. To our health, tree planting helps to improve air quality by intercepting and trapping dust and other pollutants from the air. The shade of trees also provides a useful barrier to harmful T-violent radiations from the sun. However, it's just not our physical health that benefits. Our mental health does too. When surrounded by trees or taking part in nature-based activities, stress and depression's level can be significantly reduced. To our communities, trees can bring people together. They act as a landmark within a neighborhood and encourage pride amongst people within that community. Trees and woodland areas can be used to bring people together for educational purposes. They also allow for activities such as walking or bird watching. In addition, they give children somewhere to play in and feel a sense of adventure, which we usually experience or see most here in West Africa. Now, one will be wondering what YOUNGO is, so I'll take a minute to talk about YOUNGO. YOUNGO is the official children and youth constituency of the UNFCCC. That is Youth Plus NGO would give you YOUNGO. It's a network of youth organizations and individuals who get involved with international climate change policies and actions within the UNFCCC and the UN. YOUNGO consists of many youth-led organization groups, delegations, individuals working in climate change-related fields, and our organizations which are United Nations of Youth Network Nigeria and Global Alert for Defense of Youth and the Less Privileged are members. Now, looking at the focus of YOUNGO, I would like to take us through what YOUNGO focuses on. YOUNGO focuses on the awareness, knowledge, and capacity building. It also focuses on collaboration, cooperation, and network. YOUNGO also focuses on policy, lobby, and advocacy. And lastly, YOUNGO focuses on youth action. Before I take my conclusion, I have references to my works below. And now I would like to conclude. But in my conclusion, I would like to urge young people to be actively involved in saving our environment and the world at large by planting trees and planting them regularly. And Lucy Lacombe once said, "He who plants a tree plants hope." Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ruth. That was very succinct and timely. You were very time conscious. We appreciate that. I hope last but not the least speaker will take a cue from what you've just done, and that is talking about Gregory Ajatolamba. He's also a young person, Mr. Ajato Lamba, who's a BSc degree in mathematics from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He also holds a postgraduate diploma in education and is a seasonal mathematics teacher at the School of Demonstration Secondary School, Avanikoku Federal College of Education, Owerri, in Nigeria. He is a senior tax officer in Imo State, Internal Revenue Services. He is also the youth focal person of Odimegu Obi Foundation for Youth on Integrity and Justice, an affiliate of the United Nations of Youth Network in Nigeria. Mr. Jatolamba, I'm sorry, will be speaking to us this afternoon on a global, on young people and tree planting in mitigating the effects of climate change, a global north approach with United Kingdom and Germany as case studies. 6 minutes, Mr. Ajatolamba. Thank you very much.
Good day, everybody. As already been introduced, my name is Mr. Ajatolamba Ekene. I'm a youth from Nigeria through the Odimegu Obi Foundation for Youth on Integrity and Justice, an affiliate of United Nations of Youth Network Nigeria, UNOY. This morning, I will be looking at the topic, two states, young people and tree planting in mitigating the effect of climate change, a global north approach. I will take my case study from the UK and Germany. I will be dividing this presentation into some parts to enable us to summarize due to the time allotted to us. We are going to talk about climate change a bit. We are going to be talking about the fact about climate change. We also talk about the northern approach, global north approach dispensation. We also talk about the fact about it. We talk about the effect of climate change. We also talk about the mitigation itself, conclusion, and the headway. Now, as we already know, that climate change is one of the major fears or threats the world today, and is increasingly emerging as one of the most thoughtful problems globally, which is affecting many segments of economic growth. Climate change, as we all know, is a long-time shift in the temperature and weather patterns. And according to Parmesan and Yohe, who says that the effect of the climate change on ecosystem can already be seen. And if we agree with ourselves, it's already seen all over the world. What are the dispensations in the northern approach? Now, global warming has shown to be one of the most serious threats to biodiversity in Europe, which is the northern part. This kind of concern led to development of precise climate envelope models to predict the potential effect of climate change on the distribution of species under different climate change scenarios. Now, furthermore, the Italian and the Iberian peninsulas are characterized by a varying degree of isolation that has caused many trees to be genetically differentiated from their central and northern European counterparts. This has been a major problem. We also talk about the effects. When we talk about the effect of that, we find out that the warmer temperature over time are changing weather patterns and disrupting the regional balance of nature. Nearly all lands are seeing hot days and heat waves. People are expecting are experiencing, rather, climate change in diverse ways. It affects our health, ability to grow food, housing, safety, and work. What are the facts about that climate change? According to United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, about 7.5 million hectares or nearly 18 million acres of forests are lost every year. And roughly half of our Earth's tropical forests have already been cleared. Globally, Sub-Saharan Africa from the global south has lowest climate change awareness level of 44%. And while the global north, using the UK and the Germany as a case study in my presentation, has a awareness level of 88%. We see that there is a gap between the global north and the global south in this climate change, effect. And what are the mitigation? Large trees plays a critical role in provisioning economically important and climate regulating ecosystems services, such as water, non-timber forest produce. The UK, in its act, the England Tree Action Plan 2021 to 2024 has said it all. We can read off the act. It has said it all on the importance of planting large trees. Conservation of these great trees is first and easiest step towards mitigating.
You have 2 minutes to round up.
Now, Germany also has a commitment to international climate policies and worked on economic trees is extensively great. Now, in conclusion, climate change mitigation through tree plantings will require awareness, creating knowledge, understanding and values, attitudes, skills and abilities among individuals and social groups through an important role in this regard. Trees are very much important in mitigating the effect of climate change in today's world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. I would just prefer to call you Gregory, so I don't bite my tongue with your surname. No offense, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 1 full hour of intensive engagement from UNOY and GADYLP under the leadership of His Royal Majesty, Dr. Obi Goodluck. Now, we're going to have just a few minutes of interaction and questions. I want to ask from our technical team, have there been any questions online? Is anybody online with a questions? No, okay, there's no question online. So I want to ask, is there anyone in the audience who wants to ask a question or you have, okay? Please, we will require, oh, thank you very much. Yes, please just introduce yourself and tell us the name of your organization and your comment. Just 2 minutes, please. Before, yes. Let's have your name, please.
Hello. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. My name is Obimdike Mashku Loretta. Thank you so much to our speakers, and it was really just like the moderator said, a heartwarming session. Then my first question goes to the first speaker, EZE DR.Goodluck. You mentioned, the second person mentioned also about the tree planting initiative in Imo State, Nigeria. So I want to know how the approaches or the strategies you employed during the tree planting project. The second question, how are the sustainability of these trees? And how did the government of Imo State ensure the protection of the forest reserve? Because I think it's not just planting trees, but what houses the trees, which is the forest reserve. How does the Imo State government ensure that these forests are preserved? Also, I have a very important one, still to the first speaker. How do you monitor these restoration projects? Like in the tree planting, during the tree planting processes, how do you monitor it? Do you employ any monitoring, just like using maybe the technologies provided by the FAO or any institution in monitoring the processes?
All right. Can we have? You have 4 questions, so I think I'm sorry, you have to stop there so that we can give other people
it's okay.
room to speak with. We'll take the questions and then we'll just take the answers at once. So, is there another person? Please just let us have your name and then your organization you represent. Thank you. Yes, there's a lady behind.
Thank you so much. My name is Agnes, and I work with a local organization in Uganda. But I also want to follow up on the question on monitoring. I just wanted to understand the strategies that any speaker can answer this, the strategies that they employ to make sure that the trees actually, the germination rate and growth rate in terms of protection, how do they monitor? Because in Uganda, we kind of struggle. The planting happens, but the rate at which, the community, the animals and all that, I just want to understand if they have any strategies to make sure that they follow up on the germination rate and growth rate of these trees.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. We want to have our last speaker. Let's have the gentleman behind. Your name and your organization, please.
Hello, my name is Foku Hilux. I'm from Mifali, an adolescent-led movement in Cameroon. So I have a question to any of the speakers. First of all, following the previous question around sustainability, how does the government ensure that after 10 years, the laws will not go down to lowering the restriction on tree cutting down? And my next question is to Barrister. I appreciated the presentation of all the speakers, and I wish to also share my sympathy to all Nigerian families who lost their relatives during the flood that really touched Nigeria. I wanted to know from the perspective of taking a case study from India, adapting how they have been using tree plantation in mitigating to the effects of climate change in their communities. How do Nigeria, they have been living in India, I saw that there have been a lot of drainage being constructed in order to also accompanying the tree plantation to make sure that in cases of future floodings, population are being saved. How do the government of Nigeria and Imo State in particular make sure that apart from tree plantation, they also go alongside with drainage system, because the young people also need to hold their government accountable, not only the government ensuring that young people are being involved in mitigating through tree plantation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before the speakers respond, I want to say that the questions are almost alike, and so one person can address the entire questions, except with the one of Dr. Igwe, who the question is directed on how to sustain the laws in Nigeria after 10 years. So briefly, whoever is going to speak, you are going to speak on the strategies that you employ. You're going to talk about how the trees that you plant are sustained. Then you also got to talk about on the protection of these trees when they are planted. What are the mechanisms you have in place in terms of monitoring? Also, you also have to, what do you have in place in monitoring the tree growth? Because that was from Uganda. So the questions can be answered in one, because we have just 5 minutes for you to do justice so that we can round up. We have 5 minutes to be through from this place. 3 minutes, Your Highness. Thank you very much. You are muted. You are muted, sir.
Monitoring and sustainability. Yes, like I said, in the course of my presentation, the government and our NGO, you are working in collaboration with experts in Federal Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Environment, and Federal Ministry of Forestry. We are using the best brain. The young people plant trees. The sustainability, the monitoring, the evaluation are being done by the experts in this field. However, the experts collaborate with the NGOs. Like in Imo State, we have the Numerical Development Limited and Summit Innovative and Synergy Limited. These are development partners with Imo State, and they have all the mechanism, the sustainability, the storage, monitoring, and every other thing that we make the tree planting a holistic move for sustainability.
Thank you very much, Your Highness. Dr. Igwe, how do you sustain the laws that are in place after 10 years? In essence, I think, is there any room for reviews, or is it permanent law? 1 minute, madam. Dr. Igwe, you have the floor. 1 minute. You are muted. Unmute your phone, please. We can't hear you. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, madam. We cannot hear you. I think we just have to move on. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, madam. We cannot take any question. We need to leave this hall for another group. Ladies and gentlemen, within the last 1 hour, 10 minutes, you've had the opportunity of listening to great minds, both young and old, speaking on the young people and tree planting, lessons learned in Nigeria and among other members of the globe. And in the course of these discussions, you had the first speaker letting us know on the successes recorded when he was the advisor to the mayor of Amuwo-Odofin, and that role made the local government to become the best environmental friendly local government in Lagos State. It is this experience that he took to his Imo State when he became paramount ruler, and is working with the state governor that has kick-started the project of planting 10,000 trees in Imo State in all the 27 local governments, and also made us to understand that working with the youths in this initiative, they've been able to set up a Green Club and Climate Change Club. And what they do is help catching them young. Yeah. And so these activities has brought about economic, ecological, and social benefit to the state. Now, in concluding, he recommended that the youth need to be motivated, even though what they do right now is free of charge, but they need to be motivated so that they can continue from where they stop. Dr. Igwe defined tree planting, and also which he said is land reclamation and afforestation. He made reference to the project of the immediate past head of state of Nigeria, who launched the 25 million trees to be planted in Nigeria, and also the youth minister who launched the 250,000 youth to plant 250,000 trees. And in India, he said the Indian government has also enacted a law whereby a program to plant 2 billion trees. That can be understandable. Don't forget, India has the largest population in the world for today, with China. She referred to some of the laws in Nigeria, like the Law Forestry Act 1979 and the Cap 55 Nigeria Forestry Law. Jennifer spoke on the importance of tree planting that has to do with herbs and they are medicinal. Also, on the importance that yes, with enough trees, people can go around trees and study and detect mental well-being, which was also followed by Ruth, who made us understand the difference between afforestation and reforestation. Afforestation are places where trees are only planted, and you start afresh. Reforestation are where you have trees planted and they were destroyed, and you are replanting trees there. That was a new one to me. And she also stressed the importance of tree planting, which to her reduces stress. Gregory, concluding, made us understand the effect of climate change on the ecosystem, which is not only being seen now, but also being felt. And made reference to the statistics by the Food and Agriculture Organization under the UN that says that 7.5 million hectares of trees or forests are lost every year. And then made reference to what is operational in England, in Germany, which were his case studies. So, ladies and gentlemen, you could agree with me that has been very impressive and educative. So, now I want to call on the convener, His Royal Majesty, to give his vote of thanks so that we can leave here. 2 minutes, Your Royal Highness. Vote of thanks, please, and closing remarks. 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you so much. First and foremost, I must appreciate Pastor Peter Somorabo for being there for United Nations of Youth and Global Alert for Defense of Youth and the Less Privileged. Your summary of the event, your summary of the side event is, to say the least, superb. Let me also appreciate those who are presently in the house, not despite the fact that majority of us are speaking virtual. They are there to listen to us, not forgetting those that ask questions. I must not fail to appreciate my fellow speakers, those from Ghana, those from Nigeria, those from different parts of Nigeria, for painstakingly taking it to themselves to make sure they made themselves available. This is a pilot project that was introduced by UNFCCC, but I'm very, very happy that it worked very well for us. I thank you so much. And whenever you are going back in respective places, you will arrive safely. We wish you good luck and safe trip.
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness. God bless you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.